Hey, what's up, guys? Jay from Revolution Radio. Um, so there was a situation in Florida. I know, Florida of all places. Last Thursday, where a 6-year-old named Kia was just causing all sorts of problems. I mean, far more than we can handle. Throwing a tantrum. She apparently kicked a staff member at her elementary school, and it's some of the most horrific things I've heard. Um, I have a 7-year-old, and thank God he's never thrown a tantrum over something, you know, little. It's never been blown out of proportion, and he's ever kicked or screamed or anything. 'Cause I don't know what I would do. See, I don't have the capacity to just talk to a child to ease the situation down. I would want a trained professional. Um, and that's what this elementary school did, because apparently they are not trained professionals. They deal with children on a daily basis. And yes, we do pay them to essentially educate and, in a sense, um, groom our children for society. Maybe not a full time job, but in part time we do. But they couldn't handle this tantrum. I've never seen anything like it. A 6-year-old upset. Oh my God, what do we do? So they called the police, and the cops, of course, are just fantastic with de-escalating situations. And in this one, they just couldn't. Nobody. We had 20, 30 adults, and none of them could handle this little 6-year-old girl. So they had to put her in handcuffs and send her to a detention center where she was fingerprinted and had to have her mugshot taken. A 6-year-old. Come on, guys. Seriously? And here's the other thing. To make matters worse, there was an 8-year-old the same day. Same situation, same story. I have lost any sort of respect. I take it, I don't mean this, but every time I see a story like this, and then I see coinciding stories of officer shoots man. Well, if the cops, if he just put his hands up, really? Because they couldn't handle a 6-year-old. They couldn't handle a child. And yet you give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not shooting people. They don't know how to do their job. 6 weeks in a lot of cases. 6 weeks to 6 months. It really depends. 6 months being the maximum to orchestrate our society in a lawful manner. I'll tell you this, it wouldn't take me 6 minutes to know not to put a child in handcuffs because they were throwing a tantrum. And for all other reasons, the fact that that is psychologically damaging to a child, the fact that it's a gross waste of the public's money, but even more important for me anyway, is God, you look like just one weak person that you can't deal with a 6-year-old. Now, for anyone who has any sort of sympathy for the police on this one, I don't understand it. I wouldn't want that cop, those police officers in that situation, in situations like this, should be terminated immediately. Again, we'll just push aside the damage that it's doing to the child, and let's just focus purely on the fact that they're not good police officers. For that point alone, they should not have a job. I worked at Walmart for longer than I would want to. Working at Walmart, I had to deal with a lot of children throwing temper tantrums. I talked them down. I couldn't. You get public, you can't touch them, you can't, nothing. With my words, I talked many children from throwing toys around in a department in a calmly fashion. I was trained by Sam Walton, not by not by a police department. And I did a better job than these guys. They should lose their job, without a doubt. If you can't de-escalate a 6-year-old, if you can't just say, hey, look, you're going to whine and cry, fine. We're going to put you over here. You sit here in this corner, you yell all you want. You call the parents. I I have so many issues with the way that this story played out and what they were doing. Number one, I'm on board with a lot of people who say I don't send my kid to school so that they could be raised. I'm on board with that. No, that's your job. You're a parent. That's why you had them because you wanted to raise them. Well, then be around. But more so than that, and because I haven't had a child who was in public school, they don't tell you stuff. They won't call and say, "Oh, your kid hit another kid." No, you need to call me so I can get down there and handle the situation. You don't need to deal with it. But at worst, you call the cops, and they're gonna deal with it before you call the parents. Everyone in this situation should lose their job. The principal, the teacher, the police officers, the ones who decided that this was an okay practice, all of them should lose their job. Again, we're not even talking about the damage they did to the little girl. We're talking about just for being really shitty at their job. And you know I don't like to cuss on these very often, but they are fucking deplorable at their jobs and should be fired. You might ask, why did the child throw such a huge tantrum that nobody could resolve? She has sleep apnea, and so she wasn't able to get a full night's sleep. And she was just in a bad mood, as sometimes 6-year-olds are. The the other thing is that the officer Dennis Turner, who arrested Kia, the 6-year-old, also arrested an 8-year-old boy the same day on unrelated charges. But according to department policies, officers are supposed to get approval from their watch commander before they arrest anyone under 12. Turner did not. Did he understand why I say he should be fired immediately? Not only is he not going through proper channels, he's willy-nilly arresting children. You know, there is, I could say in Florida, no minimum age for arrest. And in fact, 2014, 2015, there were 80 arrests of children under the age of 9. In 2010, a 4-year-old boy was arrested after he was busted with a group of kids breaking into an old man's shed. It's disgusting. We can't handle these situations. What happened? And the thing is I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You can blame, oh, it's the damn liberals, huh? It's a damn Republican. No, we've let the police have too much power. When if some kids in my neighborhood are trying to get into my shed, I can't go out there and cuss the little fuckers out. Talk to their parents. That's what we did as a community. That's what we're supposed to do as a community. We talk. Now they'll have the police handle it, and they'll arrest our children and let them know how easy it is to be a criminal. It's exactly what we should do. Um, it's just it's disturbing, the numbers, and again in this situation and in many of these situations where children are being arrested. If you're an officer of the law and you can't handle a screaming child, number one, you should never complain to a single parent about raising children. Never, your whole rights about, well, we shouldn't financially help them, or they need to be better parents. No, you shut your mouth, because you're getting paid by me to handle that situation, and you arrest them instead of de-escalate it, to talk them down, to calm them down. Because I don't know, you're an adult. We have the brain capacity to do such. Yeah, it's pathetic. Anyway, that's just my thought on the whole thing. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. So it's the YouTube channel, the community of ideas, and that's what this is for everyone to express their ideas, their thoughts. I just bring the stories and give a quick little, I don't know, about interpretation of it from my view. Uh, on YouTube, community of ideas, search it up. I haven't really gone super promotional with it right now. Still just kind of getting an archive built up. There's a few videos there. But on Anchor, uh, Google Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Revolution Radio, or Zach Dillon, Zakkdillon. The producer loves it when I get to say his name. Um, by the way, no relation. A lot of people think we're related. We're not related. And then my Facebook page is J Dillon, JayDylan. And Twitter is JC Show VIP. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys on this one. Have a good evening.